Hey, 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 welcome back. Welcome back to the Virgo channel. Sorry, I'm getting on a little bit late. I've had internet issues. I woke up a little while ago, trying to get on a little bit earlier. I hope everyone is going to have a great Friday. Can't believe how fast the time is going. For those of you that are new to my channel,
from TikTok, Ron00321. From your contacts is on.
Sorry about that. For those of you that are new to my channel, my name is Laura. I'm going to do a general message. Hey, Alicia. Yes, I'm sorry. You know what? Thursdays are a bad day because I have my BNI, and that's a business group that we get up at 5 in the morning for. So, I wind up getting home and passing out. It's a day I can't really do anything because I am not a morning person, and 5 o'clock in the morning. See, spirit always brings you what you need, not what you like. And I know I'm living that experience right now. So I'd love to be on every day to talk to you guys. For those, as I was saying, for those of you that are new to my channel, I like to do shadow readings. So I look at everything, but we take a lot more time to look at the spiritual blocks and shadows and see how they play out as karmic themes to help you understand why your situation is playing out the way that it is. See, there's many different realities that play out at one time. And what we notice is a lot of times we live the same reality because we live the same karmic theme, which is what gives us that perception that we can't have what we want a lot of times. So the readings are all about not just what your person's going to do, what they did do, but what you can do to stop ruminating. Because sometimes you're dealing just with a person that's, they're out of balance. They don't want to change. They don't want to heal, but you want to heal. You want to stop the karmic cycles. So, and other times it's like I just have this connection with this person that I just can't seem to, unbreak that connection, but I want to. Believe it or not, there are ways to do that, and we do talk about it on this channel. Now, anything of any importance or relevance to the channel you can find in the description box below. And also know that I moved everything onto YouTube. There is no more VidMe. There's no more any other really platforms except for YouTube. I was trying to merge all my YouTube channels together for my coaching. Instead of having $7.99 or whatever it is per channel, I really wanted to do all my channels together and not have to do like 10 different live streams. They won't really vid me. I don't know what's going on with that platform, but I moved everything. So if you guys are interested in coaching, again, different types of classes, healing, trauma, check it out. I think it's $7.99 for the tier, and you get a lot. All right. Just wanted to tell you guys that. I just got, I was really patient with VidMe. I really was. But then I heard that there was some weird things going on. And I was like, if it's not easy, that's a telltale sign. If we have problems right from the beginning, that means the foundation of whatever it is. And I said, I'm not doing that. See, everything's karmic. Everything's a test. Everything requires discernment. Everything requires, like, again, that for you to rely on that higher self, the knowing, whatever it is in life. So you really have to trust yourself. So that, understand if you don't trust yourself, it means that you haven't listened to yourself and you haven't ventured out into your own by yourself without the opinions of other people. So we have to become strong within ourselves because you can't control the environment. The way that we can really shift the environment and shift the experience is obviously being strong within ourselves. So the underlying energy is spirit descending. I love that card. I have to do this, guys. I'm sorry. It's just driving me crazy. It's just driving me crazy. It's driving me crazy. Oh, I forgot to mention my outer spirit bracelets. I love these bracelets because, again, they're pretty. But this one is my favorite. Look at that. Look at that. That's watermelon chalcite. Look at that freaking bracelet. I love it. Anyway, They represent the heart chakra, keeping my heart open. I just lost my husband a year ago, and you know, I'm not 100% healed. I'm not. So, I'm working on my heart chakra, trying to keep it open. That helps us with vulnerability. And that's really important if we're trying to manifest, because we have to give and receive of love. How do we do that with a closed heart chakra? It's not going to work, right? So I'll tell you one way that it does work, though. Spirit descending. That's when the higher self, the God part of self, actually grounds, and meaning it's manifesting time. It's manifesting time. If you can imagine it, you can create it, right? So it's an unfoldment process. So you're in the process of finding yourself, and that's within a career, within a hobby, within an interest. Because when, again, the spirit is connected to that passion for life, it's the right side of the brain. It's intuitive. It's claircognizance, which is really good. And I'm going to tell you why. Because if anyone's in your environment that's trying to piss you off or trying to control you or get underneath your skin, you're not going to pay attention because you're in this energy. This is very high vibe energy. Again, that spirit, we all have a spirit. So that's what's influencing what's going on, which means you're giving whoever's in your environment absolutely nothing, which is great. You're giving people that want to irritate you, that want to take you off your track. Again, they just want to affect you. They can't. And so you're really showing who you are. And I feel like it took a long time to get here. So let's pull 3 more this time. I'm going to pull from a completely different deck. Withdraw. Excessive. So again, the person that you're connected to, I feel like, well, they don't know what to do. They're kind of like hiding. I feel like they're hiding from you. And I feel like they're in very addictive energy. Excessive energy is that. So this person can't control you. People that need to control other people have a second chakra imbalance. Know that. And what does that mean? Well, it means that you're in the passion for life, your spirit's descending, you're creating, you're finding yourself, you're connecting to people through the heart chakra. Possibly why I mentioned my bracelets, that's what you're doing. And so this person is like, well, you're not giving me anything, so I'm going to act like I don't care. But they do care, because people that have excessive energy, what they're doing is they're suppressing emotions. Otherwise, and why did they do that? Because I can't control. So you're not seeing anything. But that's what this person wants you to think, because they're like, I don't really know what to do. This person's very strategic. There's someone that normally gets their way, I feel like. And when you were with them again, they ignored you then, they're ignoring you now. There's a sense like they don't know how to deal with you. And you have to say, then why would they even like me? Well, 2 fell out, so we have to take them, And the first card was trust. You just felt very uneasy in this connection because you could no longer trust them. That's that one. And lonely. And because that just fell out. And then the third one is, again, where you felt like this person over time, like if you're in a regular relationship with this person, they actually feel trapped. Like that's the energy, almost like it's too much. But really understand the boundaries that they create, and them ignoring you and gaslighting you is really them trying to trap you emotionally, psychologically. So they'll turn around and be like, oh, you're trying to control me, but really you're not trying to control this person. It's that there's a lot of, this person avoids the emotional intimacy. Otherwise, you wouldn't feel what we see here all across the board is a second chakra imbalance. And I need to tell you that because you need to understand what the spiritual imbalance is. And you need to understand why you attracted this person into your life. Lonely, never should be lonely, because spirit's inside of us. And when we're creating and we're grounded and we're interactive in life, which is when the spirit descends, We're not lonely because we're in that energy of the heart chakra. This person has a closed heart chakra. I believe that you met this person when your heart was closed. Your heart is beginning to open. And as it opens more and more, this person loses control. And now they feel ignored, is what I feel like, because you're putting them in the energy of where they're powerless. This person only knows how to have attachment types of relationships. And attachment is they emotionally don't show up. They can financially give to you. They can give to you sometimes. They can give to you, but the consistency. And so understand you didn't want to be in a relationship like that. You knew that you would be in this energy. So when you disconnected because you became intolerant, now this person has a lot of anxiety because it's not that they didn't know who you were. The wisdom and the knowledge, I always say this is my soulmate card, because of the sacred geometry, the dove, that knowledge, that wisdom is claircognizance, it's clairsentience. I don't know how I know I always felt a connection to you. What I see here is that this person didn't honor it because they were very prideful. So what did they do? They didn't know how to handle you. So again, abandonment and betrayal. And now this person's hostile because, really, when you stepped into your power, really, of disconnected, the spirit descends, well, this person became very insecure. They couldn't be self-righteous anymore because you're not playing along. Usually this person's cocky and they, again, twist things and to make themselves better, again, feel better. But now that you took your power back, when a person has very addictive energy, that excessive energy that wants to control second chakra imbalance, again, we can't go with the flow of life because there's no balance there. This person doesn't have balance. We always feel we need to control when we don't have other passions, if that's the only passion. So, and this person is not emotionally intelligent, so it's very scary for them to be in that energy. So they're suppressing their emotions, but understand they're obsessive because that's addictive energy, and no one's going to tell me anything different. Because when we're trying to control and we can't control, and we have that anxiety, and we're suppressing the emotions, how do you think the person's doing it? They're detached, they're withdrawn. They're not going to show you that. They're trying to cut their energy off because you cut yours off. You only, again, didn't say, oh, I'm going to cut my energy off. You, again, put your energy into yourself. So now this person is in a place of doubt that you're going to come back. They're jealous and they're becoming impatient because, hey, their little game isn't working out. And that little game shows that they're very selfish. So now this person is being forced to actually look at the connection, which they fucking ignored, by the way, this whole time. This connection, which I told you that. So now they're in a place of regret because this second chakra imbalance of control and the addictive behavior, well, guess what? It's also one of shame and regret. Because again, they tried to control and their little plan backfired. So this person is having like a whole spiritual thing happen, where meanwhile, just because you detached, you're not going to see any of it because this person doesn't want you to see it. They've withdrawn, they've suppressed their emotions, and they're in that obsessive. But understand all the emotions that this person is suppressing is that how do you manifest through the thoughts that you think and the emotions that you have and where your focus is. So this person, even though they're acting like they don't care, they're stuck in sorrow and sadness because of, again, that. So I kind of feel like they're emotionally, second chakra imbalanced, again, emotionally imbalanced. And that's what happens when a person tries to control the narrative. And that's what we see here, that they tried to control it. Normally works. It didn't work on you. Now here it is. You're in a good energy, and this person is stuck staring at themselves. And it's again, they're living the abandonment. That's why they've become so obsessed, because they had that wound to begin with. Everyone leaves, which is why I got to control. So it's that. you couldn't be with a person that doesn't know how to go with the flow of life, and they can't because they don't have enough of who they're supposed to be. People that need to control other people, that become so obsessed with other people, it's because they don't have any other passions. They're expecting you kind of to be their passion, and no one wants to do that because it's a one-sided relationship. If this person can't fill their own cup, they're certainly not going to be able to fill yours. Understand that. But we are going to look at the spiritual cards to see, well, maybe this person feels certain things that, this is why second chakra imbalance too. You'll be like, person says one thing, I feel something else. I know I'm not crazy. I know what I feel. It's so, you'd be like, I want to know what this person wants, really feels on a spiritual level. Because again, these are the blockages. We're seeing the behaviorisms from the blockages. That's what unfolded first within this reading. But we don't know why. You know what I mean? Like, why? What's going on with this person? So we need to wait for divine timing. Timing is healing our wounds and creating the perfect conditions for our reunion. So this person, I feel like they thought if they waited for a long time, that maybe you would forget. And also they do feel like it's a soulmate connection. I just feel like it's a little bit of a cop out. Like, again, like, I'll wait because I don't really know whether or not you're going to talk to me ever again, whether I ruin this connection, and understand this person has to feel a little bit like maybe I didn't fuck the situation up. It's again, just because it's a spiritual situation. We see that because of the situation that they're in, that they created, so it's not like, it's not like they really know what they're doing, and the reason why is because you guys incarnated together to clear specific patterns from your ancestral bloodline. And again, they're going through a dark night of the soul. Nothing in their life is making sense, but they do long to sweep you off your feet and shower you with love, and they're watching you. And like I said, like, here it is, you're in that divine energy of spirit descending. That's the higher self. The higher self grounds. Well, guess what? This person's watching you on social media, and this is what they feel comfortable with, the grounding energy. And they're like, wow, whatever you're doing, like, you're getting, like, people are noticing you, people are liking what you're doing, whatever you're creating. And it's like they're finally looking at you. But when they were in the connection with you, they didn't look at you. But again, they were too much in there, like, trying to control. But now that they have no control, they have to come to a place of surrender. It's not like this person hasn't had feelings and emotions. They have feelings and emotions. They don't want to feel them. Part of that is the ancestral bloodline, growing up in codependency, growing up in a trauma bond connection, growing up in an addictive household, growing up again, so this person couldn't create themselves. So they don't really like relationships because they always go bad. And they always go bad because they're always attachment style. So this person goes into the relationship saying, I'm not going to be emotionally vulnerable because I don't want to create. And that's exactly what they create. And so that's why they're going through this dark night of the soul, because they can't control the situation, because spirit's like, enough. You don't control. Like, that's not love. That's not love, but that's lust. That's control. That's passion. But passion that's not elevated is betrayal over time, because you can become disposable. This person acts like that when they're in a connection because they emotionally never create the bond. Now you're in separation. Now they're forming the bond. They can't believe that they have this attachment to you. It's again, and they also know how they treated you. Again, our union energy needs clearing. Repeat this 11 times. Well, again, this person knows that they fucked this connection up. And you know it too. And so though this was a twin flame connection, again, would have to be, it's again, this person like was bad. So it says, I'm sorry, please forgive me. I love you. I'm grateful for you. There's a lot of like, again, these wounds because this person like is seeing exactly how they treated you because you disconnected. You're in your higher energy. You're creating yourself. You're leaving this person behind. It's not like there wasn't a spiritual connection to begin with. This person tried to control it. They wanted it on their terms. They thought that they could have it. You were like, no dice. You're creating yourself. This person's watching you on social media leave. And what they're saying is this, like this person is saying it. And so understand this scenario is, again, it's like almost like they would have to do this, not just to fix the relationship. And I'm not even saying so you would date them. I'm saying to clear their ancestral bloodline, for you to clear your ancestral bloodline. Because this scenario is almost like, even if you never dated this person, because they were like, well, they're fuckery. It's like they just tried to control everything all the time. And, just it was all about, them really feeling superior and being selfish. Understand, Spirit says yes. So you might have grown up with someone like that. You might have, again, had a parent that was like that. And there's a lot of like, I'm angry. And Spirit says, well, again, you're going to clear that energy one way or the other, because when you hold those spiritual blockages held within the second chakra, what'll happen is you won't be able to go with the flow of life. You won't have any balance. You won't have, you'll want to control. You'll feel inadequate. Your emotions will be up and down, because there's no balance. And so, and Spirit says, and that's what happens when you grow up in an environment that wasn't safe. And that's what you saw. So it's almost like this person became addicted to that trauma, that toxic type of energy, because that's what happens. You have an adrenaline, you have, certain hormones that are released when you go into fight, flight, freeze. So then you get into a regular relationship and it's a little bit boring. It's like they wait for the shoe to drop. So then there's a little bit of that too. So, which again, it shows you. So again, the person sees like the situation is being caused from the both of you. Well, it's again, as more that you become imbalanced, the more that you're not going to want that energy. Even if you felt at one time that you were a twin flame, you're not going to want it because you're like, again. So this person needs to take responsibility for pretty much being in balance and not even worry about you. They're worrying too much about you. They're like, I'm not going to take full credit for this. Almost like the blame doesn't fully fall on me, where really it does. It does. But in this situation, the wounds that are coming up for you, where you're like, this person had a lot of fucking nerve. Or again, like Spirit says, well, remember, you are the alchemist to transform fear into love and shadow into light. So sometimes relationships that the person was could have been a twin flame. Remember, every lifetime, this person from a past lifetime, they had the opportunity to step it up then and they chose not to. Here they pushed it and they didn't want to do that. That's why you're in this situation. So there's a sense of this person knowing that they're losing you in this lifetime, because again, that's why there's fear. But because this person has an opportunity every lifetime to fix it, and the only thing, again, I see you working to create change, and I'm proud of what you are accomplishing. I want to work on a mission with you. So now this person is looking at you and they're seeing, oh, you're going to create something. They weren't looking at any of that before. Again, Spirit descends, but maybe you weren't doing that before. And now that you're doing it, that the Spirit's descending and you're grounding yourself, this person is kind of seeing you completely different. And that's triggering their abandonment, their attachment style, and their, so it's almost like the runner becomes the chaser. And the only energy that can really transmute those stubborn second chakra wounds is creation. Second chakra, birthing. You have to birth something. It's not just a passion center, it's the birthing center. Like, what are you going to create? And this is what this person is obsessed about. They're like, I'm watching you, and it's like at one point they might have not had the faith in that you, or didn't see your vision, or didn't really know what you were doing. Maybe you kept it quiet. It's, again, for all of you, it's going to be something different. But this person wasn't really aware because they weren't really watching. And now they're seeing everything, and they're like, again, it's making you almost more attractive. But again, the alchemy is that there's deep second chakra wounds. Now we're just seeing this person's. We're seeing this person's, and we're looking at their feelings, their behaviorisms, why they do what they do, how they feel. And there's a lot of, neither one of us is being honest right now. We are afraid to express ourselves, where you're not afraid to express yourself. Maybe you are, because you're like, I ripped that person's head off. It's like, and I don't really want to express myself. I really don't like have anything to fucking say, really. Where this person is like, oh, well, I know you still have feelings for me, because again, there's a thing, but there's still nothing to say. So unless this person has something to say, so they can still feel like your energy is connected. And the more that spirit descends, the more that it disconnects. So there's a sense of, why are we running away? And I know you still have feelings, but they still haven't taken responsibility for their shit, is what I see. A little bit, but not much. Our mission is to be unconditional love. Clearing our programming is a necessary part of opening our hearts. Didn't I tell you that it's all about the heart chakra? That this person had a closed heart chakra. You have a closed heart chakra. The birthing center, that passion, which I understand, if the lower chakras are closed, then the heart chakra is definitely going to be closed. And that happens from the environments that we tend to grow up in, and the people that we date, and just life, not being spiritually strong. So again, this is what this person's fixated on. Now that you're in this energy, that the spirit descends, you're creating something, that you've cut your energy off from them. Now they've become activated. Now they're watching everything that you're doing on social media or wherever they can, trying to find out. And they're like, wow, like they're seeing a different perception of you. And again, alchemy, the runner becomes the chaser. I'm changing this pattern and moving forward. So again, you are inspiring this person. Now, that doesn't mean that you need to be with this person. You always have free will. Remember, this is just like, again, this person in a past life, they had the opportunity. They never stepped it up. They come meet you in this life. They tried their fuckery. It doesn't work. You're disconnected. You're showing them. Now they're again watching you. Now they're really saying, well, I really have feelings for this person, where I don't think that they really thought that they had as much feelings for you. And possibly because it's like, I don't know, like whether we have enough of the same energy. Maybe you came across very spiritual, and this person is somebody that's very grounded. Once you became more grounded, then this person was like, wow, like you're creating shit. That's my language. It's like, I see how I can fit into your life now. And also it's triggering their ego, because A, you don't want to have anything to do with them. Like, and B, and it's digging up all their spiritual wounds of abandonment, of this and that. Are they aware of that? No, Spirit says. Spirit's like, you think that person's aware of that shit? No. That you think that because they would never agree to heal. They wouldn't agree to heal. Spirit says, I got to trick this person. It's again, they're control freak. Second chakra imbalance. Control freak. And not just with you, with everything in their life. So I have to trick them, Spirit says. So I had to bring you into their life. So it doesn't logically make sense. That's why this person's going through a dark night of the soul. They're like, normally I don't care. I don't care. It's like, I care. And now you look like you're in better energy than I am. And, it's triggering their ego, where Spirit says, They had an unhealthy ego. I had to humble them. And now they're becoming humbled because you're in better energy. You're leaving them behind. They're becoming very impatient. This isn't playing out the way that they thought that it would, clearly. I think you're beautiful inside and out, and I see the light that radiates from your soul. Again, this person again sees again that you are very spiritual, that you can be spiritual and actually create and ground and have and really have a meaningful life where it's like you disconnected and you like stepped into your, your divine energy. It's almost like you were like, nah, I'm worth more. And spirit says that's why I needed to that, because understand this person tends to project their patterns, and in that the patterns wind up triggering both of you, and then it's really difficult to see what's real and then to see what's fear-based thinking, which is the whole point of the twin flame connection. That is again the projection, because again this person has wounds that they wouldn't look at. How do we know that we have wounds? Projection. We get angry, we get triggered, and then where then you also are like, well, then this person makes me feel like, not wanted. They made me feel not good enough. They made me feel all these energies which needed to be looked at. It's like which we wouldn't volunteer to look at, but they have to be looked at in order to alchemize the energy. I always felt I had a higher calling in life. Okay, it can't get any more twin flame. It's again the same thing. Like whatever you're doing, whatever you're creating, whatever life is doing, this person is like, I feel like I'm supposed to be a part of that. I feel like I'm supposed to be with you. I feel like, and that, because it's their language. Oh, they all came out, so we have to take them because there's no such thing as mistakes. But we're going to end with these cards, with this deck, and we'll move on to another deck. So again, I don't feel deserving, and it's affecting my levels of abundance and opening. That's normal card, especially for where they are. Again, to project their patterns. And then again, the second chakra, in like wounds, are really tough to heal because that's where shame is. That's where, victimization, betrayal. It's a boundary thing due to creation. Persons tends to be sensitive too. So again, they have to heal the feelings of inadequacy, of insecurity. I care about you even when I act like I don't. And that they tend, well, this is how it started. They hide their true feelings. And that's a second chakra imbalance too. I can't be vulnerable. I don't feel safe. And so again, that needs to be cleared because no one wants to be in a fucking relationship with someone that's like a cardboard, like that has no emotions. No one wants that. It's like, and that's what this person is seeing. When I look into your eyes, I feel the universe activates me. I don't know whether that person feels that. I feel like this person has butterflies, that they're like, that they get nervous, that they again feel alive, that they feel the connection. I don't know if they say the universe activates me. I don't think anyone says that. And they understand the only way is because this person daydreams about you. Sometimes it's sexual. Yes, it is. And other times it's visualizing the future and creation and this and that. So this person again is imagining that. And so we must remember that we're gods and goddesses and work to embody that energy. I don't think that this person thinks that because I don't think that they're evolved as much. I think that the universe is chiming in here and saying, well, like the aim is that you get to the higher levels of consciousness, which is unconditional love, which again is the energy of me, God says. The universe is the energy of the universe, is the energy that is inside of you when you are whole, when you are balanced, when you again don't feel that you need things outside of you. This person always designs their relationships as codependent with attachment styles, which is what's going to happen if you're a cardboard and you emotionally don't give. Again, the vulnerability, this person strategized instead, and what happened is they shot themselves in the foot. And what they see is you're in this energy, and they're saying, oh my God, like, yeah, I could have actually been with you. Like, this is, and so they're put in this predicament. And Spirit says yes, because they would have to surrender their ego. They were disgusting. Spirit says it's like, so I would have to like elevate your energy to make this person have to actually surrender their ego and then rise. And that what we see here is it's in the beginning phases. And it's because as you change, as the spirit descends and grounds and you create, this person sees you leaving them behind. That, again, they have an attachment style of avoidance. So here it is. You actually are avoiding because you're over there, which puts them in the anxious attachment style, which the runner becomes the chaser because this person is the avoidant because of abandonment issues. Where if they create that dynamic, well, then you're the one that's normally chasing after them and they don't have to worry. But here it is, you opted out and they never saw you investing. They never saw anybody do this. You know what I mean? Or that they actually had the feelings. So it's not just you, it's the fact that you're balancing out your energy because this person was, not giving you anything, made you feel lonely. It's like, I don't need to be in a relationship with this. It makes me feel as if, all my parents, that like how I grew up, like maybe I didn't feel loved or feel like it was a part of that family or feel like, and that's exactly what you try to make me feel like. So I don't need to be in that energy. I choose me. And Spirit says, damn straight. The Spirit descends. We don't have time for that. Nobody's got time for that. I'm over here, and that's why this person is like, now they're being ignored and they don't like it. So when we say, okay, so what are they going to do? Can we see what are they going to do? Well, because right now what we see is, again, a lot of the internalization, a lot of like who you are, a lot of like for who you were, and again looking at themselves, like what I did, how I'm going to fix this. And it's like they're not even thinking about how they're fixing it. They're just stuck in being impatient, like, wait a minute, I have this realization that you're not coming back and you're leaving me behind, and I'm seeing what you're doing, and they're getting jealous over what you're doing and who you're becoming. And that's the second chakra imbalance, because now you're becoming your true self, where who's this person still? They were just controlling. When we're controlling, it means we don't have enough of ourselves. We're codependent. We need attachments then. We feel that we're inadequate. We feel that we need something outside of ourselves. We then have those spiritual blocks because we live shame, we live guilt, we live betrayal. That's what needs to be healed. Otherwise, we have no balance. Then, of course, we're going to want to control. And then it becomes one of those attachment trauma bond relationships. It's time for me to heal now. That's what this person's doing now, which is what Spirit says, thank God. It's like that was the whole point. The twin flame connection makes you heal. You're healing because your spirit's descending. You're becoming who you truly are. You're transmuting your spiritual blocks from how you grew up, so that if divine time happens, you both will be coming together at the right time. You still have free will to choose. But that doesn't mean that this person's not your twin, even though you see a lot of assholic behavior here. I mean, that's the whole point, that they have to surrender their ego. So, the bigger they are, the harder they fall, head in hand rather, and humbled. Spirit says they needed to do that. They're not going to do that if you're sitting around and like you're crying or waiting. You're like in your energy. What you're saying is, fuck you. I'm over here having a good time. It's like, I don't need you. That triggers that person. And then saying, well, what are you doing? Because again, is there someone else? At first it's, is there someone else? Obsessive. And then it's, well, actually, like everything that you are, I look for you everywhere. This person hopes to bump into you. Again, which Spirit says, of course they do. They're still prideful. I have to really make that person surrender their ego, and they don't want to do it. They're prideful. People don't just do it because they have feelings. They're afraid. This person's not emotionally intelligent. Again, that's why they're going through a dark night of the soul. I am not available, and they're not available, emotionally available right now because they're in their healing. So this person still does not react when people mention you because, again, they don't want to show their emotions. And so what Spirit says, so they're not 100% healed. And if your spirit's descending, it means that it's still time for you to create and become who you're supposed to become. You know, this person, it does regret lying to you, and like they said it was their fault, but they blamed you. It's again, they're feeling guilty over it. I wish I could take back my words. I wish I could. I love you unconditionally. You know, this person, I wish I had treated you better. That they have to go through this to actually, because the Spirit says, you know, they never took responsibility for how they treated you. I have to make them surrender their ego. They have to look at themselves. And not only going to happen when you're over there, when you're having a good old time creating yourself, you cut your energy off, your spirit descends. It's again, that's what needed to happen. It's like you had to not be afraid of losing this person, because this person truly does want you. They do. It's like, I will wait for a sign from you. And Spirit says, then do not reach out to them, no matter what. Do not reach out to them because they're already impatient. And Spirit says they need to come to you. They need to come to you, and they need to like be humble about it. They're again battling, which Spirit says that's a normal thing, because it's again, I have to be vulnerable. I have to again wear my heart on my sleeve. I have to tell you, I have to express to you like how I feel. I have to be fair. Even if you're not going to be with me, I have to do that. So many things remind me of you. So again, like regardless of whether they, you know, they want to or not, Spirit says eventually they'll surrender their ego. You just don't want to be sitting here waiting for it, because it would trigger you like, what's wrong with you? Why don't you want to? And the reason why is because of their own demons, Spirit says. It's like that's their healing. It's like, and it's brought them to their healing. So that's where they are. It doesn't mean that they're not coming back. They will come back. It's just we don't see it in the near future. We may be again a month down the line, 2 months down the line, but not this week, not next week. They're in their healing. So you'd be like, well, then what am I supposed to do? Spirit says, oh, you're not 100% healed. If this is like, if this was one of your counterparts, you know, then you're not healed. If this was a past life karmic mate, well, then you're not healed. It's like if you attracted this person into your life and you wanted a relationship, you're not healed. It's again, like all those things tell us. So Spirit says, so I don't know why you're rushing, Alice. You're not ready. You got to sit right back down, Alice, and look at your healing and seeing what you need to heal, so that you don't, whether you want to be with this person or not, you don't attract the same type of attachment style, or if you notice it, that you can avoid it. Thank you, George. And so let's see. Again, Spirit says, look at this. Neglect. We always look at the inner child wounds because we want to see what was fragmented, what happened. And this could be happen in childhood. It could be like a best friend. It could be, you know, a mother, a father, a sister, a brother. It could be someone that, again, you loved, that should have been there for you emotionally and psychologically. And understand, we tend to have that because children are sensitive. They just are. They look at things like, that's why, like when a little kid gives you a rock, like, and says, this is a present, you're supposed to be like, wow, it's amazing, this rock. I'm going to put it in the, you know, in the biggest, like, you know, mausoleum so everyone could see it. You know, you got to make a big deal over it. Otherwise, like if a person says, it's just a rock, then the child looks at it and they're like, oh, you didn't like my present. My present wasn't good enough. I wasn't good enough. I mean, the child self is sensitive. Now, that's just an example. Usually, it's a lot worse than that. It's usually, like, again, parents treat their children sometimes like they're adults, and they're not adults because they don't have the patience. That's really what I'm feeling. It didn't mean parent didn't love you. It meant I'm tired. I'm dealing with a lot. I'm stressed out. So it's like, hurry up, put your sneakers on. Like, we have to go. We have to go. Come on. What? It's like, you procrastinate. It's like, you told me a minute ago. It's like, do I have time to like go to the bathroom, brush my teeth? No, all day and tomorrow to do nothing. Any slower, you'd be going backwards, farting around all day. I mean, this is the way the parents a lot of times talking to their children, and they don't realize that the child's like, becoming scared. It doesn't allow that child to find their own process. The second chakra is all about finding our own unique individuality, our process, so we can go with the flow of life. It's our individuality. It's the passion for life. It's how we stay emotionally balanced, so we don't feel the need to control our environment, because we, again, are strong within ourselves. Again, you didn't grow up in that environment. And it's because when we grow with a stressed parent, we can feel that. We love our parent. We want to see them do well. We want to see, why wouldn't we want to see that? We want to see them happy, but we take on their struggles. We can feel it. And then how patient and how we perceive that they interact with us, we read into it. When meanwhile, that parent is just like, I'm tired. I worked all day. My boss was an asshole. I got to come home and make the goddamn meatloaf. And, I forgot the damn string beans, and you haven't eaten vegetables, and I'm such a bad parent. And did you do your homework? And oh my God, you failed. And we need the money for, stress, lies and secrets, organized chaos, discipline, belittled, and vulnerability. All the second chakra imbalance, where, again, vulnerability, I don't feel safe. It's like, and if our parent was strict, like, hurry up, it needs to be like this, and I'm stressed out, which is really what I feel, because we pulled belittled, where, again, when a parent's stressed and they're coming across that way, they can say, like, be insulting, like, because they want to motivate their child. They want to, influence their child, but they can influence their child kind of negatively sometimes. So Spirit says, I only look at the intention. I don't look at really how it comes out, because if the intention was good, well, which it was, the parent overshot the mark because they have a second chakra imbalance. They felt the need to control. They don't trust their child. So, that's an ancestral thing that's handed down that we don't really talk about. So it's like the organized chaos is that when I'm trying to live, by your rules and like have your unfoldment process, you don't allow me to have my opinion. Again, second chakra imbalance. I wasn't allowed to express myself. Identity. No, my parents influenced my identity, like who they wanted me to be, what I needed to look like, what they thought. And children automatically want to please their parents, so they tend to lean that way, even when they don't want to. But it's a second chakra imbalance regardless. So it's like almost like I had to live a lie. It's like secret, where like I can't be myself, where really, why? Well, if I do, then I'm like neglected. Like I have to neglect that part of myself. And Spirit says, well, you get the story of who you think you are, then there's a real story of who you truly are. They were just people that, it was through their perception what success would look like. And yes, they tried to control through fear, because I don't want anything bad to happen to my kid. I want my kid to like do well. I want my kid to succeed. I want my kid to like be something. I don't want them to live my life. I want them to live a better life. It's like, and I don't know whether they can do it because I don't trust them, because I don't trust myself. That's a second chakra imbalance that's handed down. And so what happens is, If we are not allowed to create ourselves, then how are we going to be disciplined enough to be consistent? And we're not going to be consistent or disciplined in doing things that we don't like to do, right? That's not how it works. So Spirit says the grounding, the second chakra in balance, is to be consistent. When the Spirit descends, it's finally, you're like being consistent. You're finally going with the flow of life. Again, you're losing your time and space in that co-creation process with Spirit, with the divine, the higher self, that God part of self. So of course this person is like, wow, I love this energy that you're in. And you're like, I love the energy that I'm in, because you're high vibing. And everybody's going to love the energy that you're in, because they're like, wow, things are happening. And it's like, the person's like, I see where I can be in your life. But again, they're still emotionally not intelligent. They said, and again, they know that they need healing, but it's getting them to do the healing, because they're saying, I can see how I would fit into your life. The Spirit says, I don't care whether you're going to be with them or not either. Like they had to get to this point because they were in balance. You always have free will. So Spirit says, this is why you attracted that person into your life. And being that you are not supposed to be with this person until they come back, and that's however long it takes. And that doesn't mean that you have to be with that person, but you shouldn't be with any person, because you still have to transmute the negative energy. And that means do something with the energy. And if this is a real twin flame, again, as you create and become yourself and see, the financial fruits of your labor, or see something manifest from what it is that you do, that's usually the divine time that person comes back. So however long that takes, if this is a twin flame connection, you still have, the opportunity to say, take a hike. But Spirit says, but if you're in your best energy and this person comes back in their better energy, well, you may find your balance where you're like, well, I won't date you, but I'll be your friend. Or I'll find a happy medium, but I'm more in my energy. And Spirit says, which is needed to be, otherwise you would have been codependent with this person. They wouldn't have given anything emotionally. So it shifted them, which is the whole point of the relationship. So Spirit says, and understand whether you're with this person or not, Spirit says, you need to have still a better connection to me, God says, and that's through the higher self. Take time out every day to meditate. Take time out every day to just be with your mind, and to take that time, because how do we clear ourselves? We clear ourselves by, again, really doing the shadow work. And a lot of times those answers come, and they come not through meditation, even though Spirit says, I need you to take the time out to meditate, but through the training of the calmness of the mind. If you don't take time out every single day to connect with the higher self, that God part of self, where you get that claircognizance, which is, I don't know how I know, I just know. That's the divine, wisdom that we all have, that we all can tap into. We all have those energies, because there's no separation from us and our Creator. That big energy that gives us that supernatural power to be able to create whatever we want. Again, if we can imagine it, we can create it. That's our spiritual sovereignty. But Spirit says, if you don't, again, connect to that higher self, which, understand, the world is very busy, and it will want to take you away from yourself, because it will tell you who you are. It'll tell you what you should have, who you should become. Again, you go into the grocery store, you look at the prices of food, you're like, oh my God, everything is shaping your perception, Spirit says. So you need to take time out, because you're not allowed to become part of the world. You can be in the world through, again, giving and receiving of love, but don't become part of the world, because the world is evil. And the world will tell you that you're not good enough, you don't have enough, where you actually do. You're strong. You're stronger than anything. but you have to ground. And when the spirit descends, you actually are grounding. You're actually ready to evolve, to become, embody the energy of God, because we are gods and goddesses. We're able to do that, to manifest. Spirit says, use your voice to ask for what you need. God created the world with its voice. You too can create the world, your world, with your voice, by asking for what you need, by setting boundaries, by again, just if you're an influencer, or your job, again, by doing it, it's going to help you alchemize the energy, because you're becoming yourself. You're becoming yourself by, again, not just co-creating and learning how to let spirit work through you and your environment, because again, you're taking that time out every day to tap into your higher self that's giving you the direction. And it's through that direction that you're able to alchemize those spiritual blocks. And what is that? Well, you're seeing a different version of yourself. Once you embody that new consciousness, what happens is that you transmute those wounds. You change your whole energetic template. See, you're a magnet of whom what comes into your life due to those emotions. So that's why you had to go through this entire process. This way, if this person comes back and they're not in that energy, you wouldn't be able to be with them. You wouldn't want to be with them, because again, if you're busy in your life creating, you're automatically going to set boundaries. You're already going to use your voice. You're already going to demand what it is, because you already fulfilled your life. Like, this person's coming into your life almost like the cherry on top to enhance your life a little bit, but they're not making your life. They're not emotionally what fills your cup up. You're doing that yourself, spirit says. That's the whole point. It's again, and you're just aligning your actions with your heart's true desires. And so again, we see this as the passion for life, but understand the twin flame comes in at that time, and it's to help you, because they're bringing in other energies. And that's what this person kept feeling all through the reading. They're like, I see, I'm supposed to be with you. I'm supposed to, but it wasn't until you stepped into your divine energy, where again, you had to reparent yourself. And once you did, then you're going to see, you're not going to settle for anything less than what you deserve, whether you choose this person or not. And we leave off with one more message, and that is joy. Like a child, of course, like a child, discover joy in the simplicity of life. Happiness lies in the magical moments, not in the material. Even the smallest joy is a great source of life. But what I felt is, be like childlike, because children don't say, hey, it needs to look like this. The unfoldment process needs to, spirit says, you're not in charge of the unfoldment process, because you're not in charge of how we get to creating whatever it is that you're trying to birth. I am. I'm bringing you the people, the situations, and the experiences to do so. It's a faith walk. So be in joy, be in happiness, do what you love, be in the passion for life, do what's going to bring you happiness in this whole, descending your spirit, right? As you're descending your spirit, you're becoming yourself, and it's what you love. That's how you're alchemizing the energy and raising your vibration, because those wounds obviously are not in the energy of joy, but you're becoming yourself. And spirit says, and it can be done in just the simplicities of life, but this is the energy that we are becoming. And that's the energy that you're supposed to actually be at, so that you could be open to receiving. When you have a blocked heart chakra, well, then we're not experiencing joy. And so spirit says both parties had a blocked heart chakra due to, again, how they were raised. The twin flame connection does transmute those wounds. But right now, what we see is both parties are still healing, and only in divine time are they going to be brought together. You still have free will. You might not choose, but if this person comes back when you are in your best energy, whatever they did, you're going to be like, I don't really care. because I'm in this best, great energy, and I can see things from a different perception. Whatever that you did to yourself. Now, I might not date you, I may be friends with you, or I may, again, let you just be in my life, however, and that person would work their way back into your life. You know, if it's a twin flame, once we surrender to it, meaning surrender, like, I don't care whether or not you stay or go, and it just evolves from that place. And the reason why is because both parties like to control. Why is that? Because both parties grew up in an environment that wasn't safe to be vulnerable, to be open, to be able to go with the flow. And it's not all the time because of abuse. Sometimes our parents just overshoot the mark. They were afraid. They wanted better. They wanted better for us. And in that, the influence of that, just, spirit says, again, I only look at the intention, but that person definitely overshot the mark. They, again, but that's because their group parent overshot the mark. And then we have to look at what happened in the environment and what was going on at the time. Well, they grew up in World War II, there was a depression. So, they always had to work, and they always had to, and that was their, but when we're living still from that perception, decades later, well, spirit says, again, that needs to be integrated so that you can, again, become your true and best version of yourself, so you can attract the love and become the love, because that's really all that you're down here for, is to realize that there's no separation from you and everyone else and your creator, that you have that power to create through that, your spiritual sovereignty. That's why you're here. The bigger purpose, to be the expression of love. And the twin flame helps us do that, because at the end of the day, we can't control how we feel. We can say that person's an asshole, but I still have feelings for them, and I don't really understand why. And spirit says, because you're not in charge. It's like you're learning what unconditional means from the experience. And with the twin flame, when we surrender, we actually can, balance it out. It's a process. All right. And don't forget, I wanted to just mention again about the Otter Spirit bracelets. Everybody gets 15% off. The link is in the bio, and the proceeds go to saving the otters. That's a big deal for me. It's like, I am a nature buff, and the otters were almost extinct in California. And this company has given a lot of their proceeds to saving the otters. And that's, a big deal, like I said, because part of, this world evolving, there was a lot of bad side effects, and that's the, extinction of a lot of animals. I mean, I know that there were a lot of animals that used to be, when I was a child, that are extinct now. And I don't really want that for my great grandkids or for my grandkids. I want them to grow up like with what we had. So again, anything that's going to be a plus, that's going to make us better, I'm for it. Not to mention, you'll see that they have a lot of different combinations, and that your spirit actually does pick the crystals, because I wouldn't have picked anything for my heart, but I know that I have a blocked heart chakra. It's, again, part of the healing experience. As the healer, we also have to walk that walk. It's, again, you eventually heal, but it makes you better to educate, and all the tools that are available to us, I like to utilize. Also, don't forget about my shadow healing coaching program. If you're someone that's in need, I have a group shadow healing coaching program that's only $7.99. You guys are going to learn classes, be able to be interactive. I give a lot of PDFs. We do healing exercises, because unfortunately, the effects of psychological trauma, emotional trauma, affects our nervous system. It affects the way that we think. It affects everything. So there are healing modalities. And what's great is, again, being able to heal in a group. You go through trauma by yourself. So actually healing in a group is very therapeutic. So again, $7.99. I believe that's what it is. I mean, and it's either $7, $7.99. I think it's $7.99. All right. Just wanted to put that out there to you guys. And feel free to leave your comments or tell me what topics you want me to look at. I mean, I have gotten a few emails. This was one of the topics today, which was, again, healing the second chakra. All right. I'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.